Hi everyone, Chad here from Chimu Adventures, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the wildlife in Antarctica. Antarctica really is one of those wildlife destinations. It's the equivalent of an African safari, but in the white of the ice of Antarctica. There's everything to see there, from marine mammals, bird life, obviously penguin species, seals, and there can be places where you can come ashore. There's a 5-meter rule where you're not allowed to go within 5 meters of animals, and you literally almost can't land because there are so many animals there. I guess this is compounded because a lot of this is Nico Harbour in Antarctica. You see quite often there are spaces around Antarctica, the coastline, where it's actually difficult to get ashore. So you have these beaches which just attract all the wildlife. So it's almost like they've all been condensed into that spot just for the lucky visitors who get to come ashore and see them. So what we see specifically in the Antarctic Peninsula, you'll see Gen 2 penguins, which are the ones with a little bit of orange on their beak. You'll see the chin strap penguins, which are their very distinctive black mark under their chin. You also see the Adelie penguins, which are probably one of the cutest penguins down there, named after a famous French explorer's wife. There is a chance of seeing the king penguins and also the macaroni penguins. The king penguins are a little bit larger, very majestic penguin, and the yellow crested macaroni penguins. Sometimes in the islands, especially a little further north islands, you'll see those, but not every time. Outside of that, you've got the seals, like the Weddell seal and the crab-eater seal are really the main ones that you'll see down there, and they're pretty amazing. You can also see sometimes the elephant seals and fur seals down there. They tend to be a little bit further north, but really the most interesting seal, I think, down there is the leopard seal, and this is the real sort of apex predator down there in Antarctica. It's a large seal, and its mouth can actually open up 180 degrees. It's got this huge jaw, and they're just so powerful in the water. You'll quite often see them in the icebergs. They won't necessarily be on the beach where most of the other seals are, but they can be hunting around the icebergs for prey, for penguins and things like that, or just laying about on an iceberg. In the water, obviously, it's not just seals that you'll see. There's so many whales down there, fin whales, humpback whales, sometimes blue whales, and it's not like, you'll see them passing the coast like you might quite often see in Australia. They're down there to feed. So you've got these huge krill balls down there, which they feed off, and you can just see them coming up out of the water, getting a big feed, going back down, and they'll just sit there in groups and feed for hours. So that's a very special sort of experience you can get with whales down there. Orcas as well, if you're lucky, you might see some orcas down there. And there's also some other bird life too that you wouldn't expect. It's not necessarily just penguins. There's the giant petrel, which is this huge prehistoric looking bird that you'll see around many of the beaches down there too. So many other bird life that you can see too, like the Arctic tern, which will fly from Antarctica to the Arctic each year, longest migration route in the world. Quite an amazing bird. Once you get further north, if you go to places like South Georgia, Macquarie Island, some of the sub-Antarctic islands, that's where you really start to see the elephant seals. These are huge animals, can be 3 tons per individual, especially the males. The males have a distinctive, almost trunk on the front of their face, this nose. So they're quite spectacular. They have huge amounts of fur seals in places like South Georgia as well. So if you get a chance, the peninsula is amazing, but South Georgia and the sub-Antarctic, you get all these other animals. The king penguins there especially, you've got huge colonies of hundreds of thousands of king penguins, a larger penguin as well. So make the most of it. Try and get down there, see the peninsula. If you can, go to South Georgia and enjoy your trip.